Hello and welcome to the I Am podcast for the Independent American Mama. I am your host, Rihanna Mishlevitz. I just want to say thank you for the love and support that I have received since starting this podcast. I have been so excited to start this new journey and bring together all these wonderful mamas and hopefully inspire somebody out there. The new year is full of some amazing new opportunities and goals. Every year, my family moves forward with a word. Acting is kind of an anchor for our mindset and our momentum to keep us going in the right direction. Some years, my husband and I will share one word, and some years, we will choose our own words. It really depends on how we feel about the year moving forward. This year, my husband and I created our own words, but decided we were going to support each other and really take hold of each other's word as well. And of course, we didn't feel it was complete until our family had created a goal for this year and had its own word. My word is centered, and my husband's word is stable. For our family, our boys chose the word rooted. So together we are stable, centered, and rooted. Choosing a word to help us throughout the year has always been something that has been so helpful and one of the biggest tools we have. It is a reminder of where we want to go, what our family vision entails, and it's a big reminder that we have the choice every day to ground ourselves and be more accountable and correct our ways. If you haven't chosen a word for this year, it's okay. It's not too late. Choose a word when you can. Let us know below what your word is for the year. My guest speaker today is a really happy mama. She is so spirited and joyful. Shantelle is a wife and a mom of 4 busy kids. She is an athlete and an avid homesteader. She loves experimenting and growing her knowledge, being outside and enjoying the beauty of nature. She educates others on living a more natural lifestyle, being prepared and learning new skills to grow and preserve your own food. She is so sweet and kind to others with a vibrant energy she carries with her wherever she goes. She really seeks to find the joy in the daily life. Well, Shantelle, thank you for joining me today. How are you doing?
Good. I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm good. I wanted to talk to you today about homesteading. Is that okay?
Yes, that's my favorite thing to talk about.
Awesome. Well, how long have you been a mom?
It's been, my oldest turns 14 the end of this month, so it's flown by 14 years.
Wow. Time goes by really fast, doesn't it?
It does. It's crazy.
Well, how did you start your homesteading journey?
It's kind of been my life a little bit. I remember when I was very young, probably between 5 and 8, we lived by my grandparents, and my grandpa had a farm. So he had chickens and cows and horses and pigs and all kinds of different birds. And I always remember loving to go to his house and always seeing his baby pigs. It was like my favorite thing. They are just so cute. So I remember from a young age, like I was always kind of around farm stuff. And they had a garden. And I remember going and picking raspberries from their garden a lot. And then my other set of grandparents on my mom's side, they are amazing gardeners. My grandma is a preserver. So I remember every summer she would just be preserving food for everyone in the whole family. So she was doing fruit leather and bottling and dehydrating and just all kinds of preserving. So I kind of grew up with that too. And then as I got into a teenager, I kind of just, did my own thing and didn't want to do that. And then I got married and I was like, no, I actually kind of do want to have that lifestyle. Because when you're a teenager, you don't want all the responsibility. You just want to run around and do what you want. But now that I'm a mom, I'm like, no, I do want to grow my own food. I do want to preserve our own food. I want my family to be eating healthy food. I want to be able to just have a garden. And like, I just always have loved plants. I always say plants are my love language. So like, I just love plants. And so it's been like a lifelong kind of thing, but I didn't get into it until more recently when we just bought 2 acres about 5 years ago. And so once we got that, I was like ready to just dive in again. We got chickens. And then after that, it was like everything. I was just like learning about all the homestead things. So it's just every year there's something new to learn because you think you have something down and you're like, oh, I finally know how to do carrots really well or onions really well. And then the next year comes and it's like, oh, this is totally different. Okay.
Yeah.
Is like the weather or something with the soil or just temperatures or something is always off. But I feel like we do eat a majority of the stuff that we grow. But I mean, we do make a lot of breads and stuff too. I do a lot of baking and cooking like from scratch. But yeah, we do still have to go to the store, unfortunately. I would love to be able to just live off my land, but we're not quite there yet.
Almost, right?
Yes,
Well,
that's the goal.
How far away is your grocery store from you?
It's not far. It's about 15, 20 minutes.
That's not bad.
Yeah. When I was growing up out here, it was a good like 35 minutes away.
Yeah.
So it's getting closer.
Yes. No, we are right now, we are 30 minutes away from our closest Walmart, and our health food store is about an hour and a half away. And so it's a good distance. We have to like prepare and plan when we're going to go to the store and what we're going to tackle. Just kind of hit like 5 birds with one stone, you know?
Yeah, you have to plan ahead. And that's how I grew up. But unfortunately, the city life is creeping this way. So it's kind of sad.
Well, what's your favorite thing about the homesteading lifestyle?
Oh, just the slowness of, I mean, it's busy. It's a different, I wouldn't say slow because I feel like I'm more busy than a lot of people I know just because I've got a lot more to take care of. But I feel like it's more purposeful. I feel like that is maybe how I would describe it. It's like you're just living more of a purpose, growing things, taking care of things, and being more intentional about life instead of just going to the store, getting stuff, you know, like grabbing dinner on the way. It's just different. It's like a totally different life, and it's just more peaceful. And I love that for me, I feel more self-sufficient. And so it's just, I feel better, especially in the world we live in, knowing all the skills that I know. Cause I'm like, oh, I could totally grow a garden and like help my family, you know, help my family eat. And we have chickens, we have eggs. I'm like, we could butcher rabbits if we needed to. Like, it's just a peace of mind that I love. And it's just, I just love the whole lifestyle. I love my animals. I love being out in the garden. I love being outside. Do not like housework, but I will always be outside doing work.
Oh yeah. And then you also have like all these different people are coming to you now that you didn't know before that are also in this homesteading journey.
Yes. Yes. That is another one of my favorite things. I've met so many friends. The community is like amazing. Like we're just connecting all the time in different areas, different states, and just helping each other out. And then I've become friends with so many amazing people. It's the best community ever.
No, I love that. Community is awesome. And it's heartwarming to know there's other people potentially going through the same struggles you are too in the homesteading journey.
Yes,
you're not alone.
Yes.
Everyone's making mistakes. It's okay. It feels good.
Yep. We just learn and grow together and just support each other when we fail.
Totally. I love that. What's your least favorite thing about homesteading?
That would be the loss. Whether we've had lots of loss. We have goats. We've had 3 get eaten by coyotes. We've got a coyote problem out here. And so we do lock them up at night, but occasionally the coyotes, they are just sneaky and they know how to get into everything. So we've had some traumatic moments with our kids going outside in the mornings and finding that. Yeah, it's just hard because I mean, your kids, you just get attached. And, you know, even like chickens, we've lost lots of chicks. We've lost lots of cats. Just different, you know, it's just homestead life. That's just what happens. And even the small things, like you put all of your work into, like my garden last year was probably the worst garden I've had for a few years, just because, well, a lot of things didn't grow well, but there were some things that grew really great that I've never grown before. And I was like, oh, I did it. But just you plan and you prepare and you work so hard and then things don't work out and it is so disappointing. But it's also a good way to learn and keep going.
Yeah, that's all it comes down to is it's all kind of an experiment, but it's really hard when you can attach yourself.
Yes, for sure.
Oh my goodness. Well, what kind of animals do you have on your property? You mentioned a few.
Yeah, so we started with chickens. So we've got chickens, we get eggs from them. We've got goats. Those there are weed eaters. It's just nice to I used to have to fill my garbage can, or my compost pile before we had a compost pile before I got really into homesteading, I would weed and put things in my garbage can. But now I'm like, oh, like I could just give it to the goats, especially like the ones that have the seeds that I don't want in my compost pile, all the weeds, the goats will eat them. So the goats, there are weed eaters. We've got bunnies. They make good fertilizer for our garden.
Yes, we do.
We've got bees. We've only had bees for 2 years now, so that's been a fun new learning curve for me. I'm still learning, but we were able to get lots of honey this year, so that was super fun. I know, it was so fun, so awesome. My kids love it. So we've got bees. We have cats, a couple cats. They are our mice control, and our dog. She is pretty much useless, but but we love her. She thinks that she's a herding dog. She is an Australian Shepherd, and she likes to go chase the goats, but
that's awesome.
We have nowhere to herd them to, so she just runs around and plays with them and then comes back in.
Just part of the family. I love that. That's so cool.
Oh, we also just recently got a milk cow. Sorry, I forgot about the cow because she's actually at my parents' house right now. So she's another we just added. I don't know how I forgot about her because she's been one of my favorite things to have on our homestead, but so we do have a milk cow now. She is at my parents' house until we move her over to here. We haven't had our barn up yet. So just got her in July. And actually she had a baby in July, and the baby is who we are bringing to our house.
Oh,
so
awesome.
We will breed her and milk her when she's old enough. So
well, congratulations.
I know, it's been so much fun.
Well, what are your favorite things to grow?
I am really a flower person. I'm not great at growing flowers yet, but it's something that I really want to do. I want to have a cut flower garden.
Oh yeah.
Because I just love the brightness and the happiness that flowers bring me.
Yeah.
So I'm definitely a flower person, but I do love growing food. I have really, like, every year I try to grow more and more and more.
Yes.
Like I'll just add a few things. And that's the hard part about gardening is like people get so overwhelmed with growing all the things. But if you just start with a few things, like if you eat a lot of corn or tomatoes, just start with those 2 things. And then every year just add like 2 or 3 things to it. And then pretty soon you have like a whole bunch of stuff that you're growing. So I really love growing tomatoes just because I feel like we use them for so many different things. We are a salsa family. So we love fresh salsa. We love BLTs. My kids love just cherry tomatoes right out of the garden.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like tomatoes are one of my favorite things to grow.
No, tomatoes are my favorite thing to grow. I feel like they're super easy to grow, especially out here in Missouri. But I just have fun with them. Like I like pruning them and then propagating and then just finding all this huge abundance of tomatoes in my garden. I love it.
Yes, they don't fail me very often. So I feel like they are a great one to grow too.
I love that. Are you a seed harvester or do you order seeds, or are you like a combination?
I am a combination. I do love saving my seeds, but I am also one that's like, oh, what fun things can I grow this year? What fun new things can I try? So I always grab a few seed packets just to add some variety or try something fun. Just experiment. I love to experiment with different things. But I have been learning more and more about seed saving and collecting seeds. So I do have a stash that I've saved and we use over and over.
Yeah. No, it's a little bit extra work to harvest the seeds. My husband will cut the tomatoes and stick them in the ground themselves. And the next year we'll have new tomato plants.
I know there's so many amazing tricks to gardening and so much to learn. So it's just fun to try everything.
Yeah, we one year had a ton of tomatoes. We actually made a big pot of spaghetti sauce and invited all of our family over, and we just had a big spaghetti night. That was really fun.
So fun. I love that.
What are your favorite things to preserve from your garden?
Salsa. We do lots of salsa. If you ask my kids, their favorite thing is dilly beans. So it's kind of like a pickle brine, but you put just beans, green beans in it, and they're like pickle flavored beans. They call them pickle beans or dilly beans. But cool. My kids will eat jars and jars and jars of those. But we usually do lots of tomato things. So like spaghetti sauce, salsa, pizza sauce, like the homemade Rotel season sauce, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
Lots of things like that. We also freeze dry, and my kids love freeze dried tomatoes with seasonings on them, or we do zucchini chips so we'll just do a zucchini with different seasonings on them and just eat them like potato chips. So I
So
don't just
clever.
like some of everything. Just a little bit of everything. I love peaches. Peaches are one of my favorite things from the garden. So I love bottling peaches or freeze drying peaches. It's like a candy, healthy candy. So good.
Well, that's really cool. I haven't gotten a freeze dryer, but that is on my Christmas list. So
Oh yeah, they are so much fun. I love mine.
what has been the most difficult thing about raising children on the homestead?
I feel like there's not a lot of hard things. I feel like it actually has more benefits than hard things. Hard things, I mean, I would say probably time, because my kids are very active. I have a daughter who does competitive gymnastics, so she's gone almost every night doing that. My two boys and I do Ninja Warrior together, so we're gone a couple nights doing that. So I feel like just balancing just normal busyness of life with kids plus farm life is so hard to fit it all in. But as they're younger, I feel like homesteading with younger kids is a lot harder because they like to help and they will pull everything in the garden instead of just weeds, or they'll pick things too early, or, it's just, they're just little and they're still learning. And so they are very destructive, but I feel like I'm finally getting out of that stage. My youngest is my one that loves gardening. She is like my mini me. She loves gardening. She loves being outside. She loves looking at the plant catalogs and the seed catalogs. And in fact, last year for Christmas, on her Christmas list, she had seed catalogs on her Christmas list.
Really?
So, I know, it is so cute. So she's gotten better because she knows a little bit, because she likes it more than the others did. The others were just like pulling everything. And she's like, oh, a flower, leave it. Even if it's a weed flower, she's like, oh, it's a flower. We have to leave that.
That is adorable.
So, yeah, but I don't know. I feel like it's got way more benefits than negatives.
Okay.
I haven't found too many things that are like, have been a struggle.
For sure. For sure. Well, what's a typical day on your homestead look like?
Depending on the season, because it changes. So normally, like right now, I get up in the mornings, I run out and let the chickens out to free range my yard. I do keep them locked up in the gardening months because they know how to get through the fences into my garden. So I do have to keep them locked up. We did build them a nice large chicken coop so they don't have to come out, and a chicken run so they are fully enclosed. It's super nice for them, but they still love to run around the yard. So in the months that I don't have my garden in, even I would say more at the beginning of the garden when they can still scratch through and pick out the seeds that are trying to grow. Once my garden is nice and established, we'll let them out and they can kind of pick at things. But so I'll get up, let the chickens out, feed the chickens and animals. We lock up our goats every night, so I'll go let them out of the barn, feed them, come in. I usually feed my sourdough starter in the mornings. Oftentimes the freeze dryer is going, our freeze dryer is going quite a bit. So after I get the kids all up and ready and everything, then I'll start on the freeze dried stuff, put that away. And then kind of at, in more in the evening, then I'll go milk the cow, come back, do chores again, lock up the goats, lock up the chickens, come back in for bed. But summer is a lot busier. We're outside almost all day long, weeding, even fall and spring too. We do lots of yard work. We have tons of projects we haven't gotten to. So our days are filled with just whatever project we have going on. And normally I'm not inside very often at all.
Yeah.
If it's a nice day. I mean, there's always weeding or taking care of the bees, checking the hives, things like that in the spring and fall. Just lots of planting and weeding and things like that. So just busy depending on the season. And if I'm not out in the garden, I'm usually looking through seed catalogs or planning my garden, or where do I want to plant things, or what do I want to add this year? So I've always got gardening in my mind.
Oh my
So
goodness. That is
lots of
pretty
fun things.
busy.
Yes.
I tried doing sourdough starter because you mentioned feeding her sourdough starter, and I failed so many times at that starter.
That's okay. I've killed mine many times. I usually have a backup in the fridge.
Oh, there you go.
So
That's smart. Okay. I'll try that.
yes, have a backup. Then if you kill it, you can just revive another one.
Yeah, there you go. Shantelle is an educator and wellness advocate for doTERRA. And when you get started with a natural homestead or gardener's kit from doTERRA with her, you will receive $50 in free bonuses from her. This is a really cool opportunity. When we came to Chantelle's home about 7 months ago, we taught a really cool class about gardening and regenerative mindsets. We spent time out in her garden and connecting with her growing community. When we were about to leave, Shantelle handed me a small bag as a thank you gift for coming over. Inside was something I really needed, and I keep in my purse to this day. It was a pain relief essential oil blend. It smells amazing and really helped me out during our travels as I was pregnant and continuing to travel with our family and teach other communities. It's like she knew exactly what I needed without having to communicate about it first. If you're interested in learning more about what Shantelle does, jump over to her Instagram page, The Clever Homesteader, and follow along her journey on the homestead and connect with her. She likes to build connections and see her community grow. Well, Shantelle, what's been the biggest blessing about raising children on a homestead?
I would say I love just seeing how excited they get when they go out to the garden and things are growing and or like new life. We've had baby goats and baby cats and baby chicks, and it's just so sweet watching them with those teeny little animals. They're just so gentle and caring, and it's just fun to see their excitement for life and things that they've helped with. I feel like they learn a lot of responsibility. Like I feel like my kids have had so much life experience in their short years just because we've done so much like that a lot of kids don't experience. So I just feel like it's so special having and our family time of weeding the garden. I mean, we'll be out there chatting and weeding and the kids are joking around or, it's still family time. And I feel like it brings us closer together, and working together kind of helps us be a little bit closer together. They don't always want to do the work, but in the end, they're always like, oh, it looks so nice. Like, or they're so excited for the projects that we get done. So it's just it's just nice as a mom to sit back and smile, seeing your kids excited about stuff like that.
Oh, that is so beautiful. Yeah, I heard that parents, an average, every day, they spend about 20 minutes with their kids.
Oh, that is definitely not even close to enough.
No, not even.
That's sad.
Yeah, and so I love being able to get them out in the garden and get them out in the yard, and even just going out and doing like Ninja Warrior training and just spending time with them, quality time. I think that really helps you, but also helps them in their further growth.
Yes, I agree. Because I'm like, I want my kids to be successful with like all kinds of things. And nowadays they aren't taught the old ways of living. So I feel like, it's just, I feel like the older ways of living have so many more teaching moments and bonding moments than the lifestyle nowadays. And I just love being able to bond with my kids and spend time with them. And because everything is so hands-on in a homestead lifestyle, and it takes so many hands. So
it does.
It's just amazing seeing them come together and work together. And it's good to teach kids how to work together. Sometimes they find their way through it for a bit, and then by the end, they're a team. So
and consistency is key. Consistency with that.
Yes, for sure.
Well, what's the hardest lesson that you've learned so far?
Probably patience. I am not the most patient person. I have so many dreams and visions and goals. Like there's like where I'm at, and then I'm like way up here of like, this is what I want life to be like. And it's not anything huge, but it's just like there's so much that life offers, and I'm like, oh, we could do this or this or this, like, let's do this community garden and let's do, like, I've got plans all over the place, and my husband is always like, whoa, slow down. But I'm just like a dreamer and a planner, and I just want to help everyone and do everything. And so I feel like waiting for God's timing and having patience has been my biggest thing, because I like have to take it back to like reality every day. I'm like, okay, what can I actually get done today?
Yeah.
And it's helped. Like, I have a vision and we just chip away very slowly, or sometimes we'll get a little bit more done at a time, but it's a slow process, but it's good.
Yes. Yeah, definitely. Patience is like a big skill you got to learn in gardening and homesteading, and learning the patience of the seasons as well, too.
Yes. Yep. That's true.
What are some skills that you're hoping to learn?
Ooh, I would love to learn how to grow more herbs and plants for just our medicinal purposes for our home. We do a lot of natural living. We do a lot of essential oils and natural products, and like baking soda, vinegar, stuff like that for cleaning.
Yeah.
But I want to get more knowledge. I've bought a few books, and I've been trying to do more online learning on just what I need to be growing and how I need to be preserving them and what to use them for. But it's just like there's so many things. So I just need to focus my time a little bit more on that, because that's something I would love to learn how to do. And with our bees, we've gotten wax from them. I would love to learn how to make more things with just our products from our bees, which seems so simple, but just little things that I haven't had time to figure out yet that I just want to dive into.
Oh, yeah.
We've also got we bought some creamed honey once. It was like strawberry creamed honey, and it was so good. So it's like just little things that I'm like, oh, I want to learn how to do this. I want to learn how to do that. But those are probably my main things, is herbs for medicinal purposes, and then just utilizing what we have a little bit more.
Yeah. So you say you use essential oils. What's your favorite essential oil like around the new year?
Ooh, Motivate is a good one.
Okay.
That one's really good. Balance. That one is very grounding. So I like to sit down and kind of map out my year. So I love using like Motivate and Balance, both of those together. One to kind of like inspire me, and then the other one to just kind of keep me focused and grounded and kind of centered, to where like, what is my purpose for this year? What do I want to do? Like, what is my purpose? What's my purpose for my homestead? Things like that. Just finding purpose for the year.
I love that. My husband uses Motivate, usually right before he sits down for work. He'll put Motivate on, and I will do Balance on my kids before we go to our homeschool co-op. And that really helps. I love those oils.
Yeah, they have been lifesavers in our home.
What are your kids' favorites?
Birch. Birch is a newer one that they just released. doTERRA just released. They've had little bits of birch throughout other years, but they hadn't gotten enough source to make it a permanent product until this year. They love that one because they say that it smells like root beer. So they love diffusing that one. And they call it the root beer float oil. They mix that one with vanilla. So it's kind of like a vanilla and root beer smell.
That is so cool.
But their favorite is probably, hands down for all of my kids, wild orange. They put that one in our yogurt, ice cream, smoothies, pretty much everything. They just love wild orange. They put that in everything because it's like their favorite.
No, it's a happy oil.
Yes, it's a happy oil. And that one is a good one. When they wake up on the wrong side of the bed, we'll just put a little wild orange on them because they love it anyways, and then cheers them right up.
Oh, that's so nice. Well, you mentioned Motivate. So what keeps you motivated on the hard days?
Some days I just let myself not be motivated, honestly. I'll just take a break if I need a break. Because sometimes homesteading life is a lot and it is hard. And I always tell people it's okay to take breaks. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to take a day off and just rest, like just really just relax, rest, take a break. And then I feel like though, because I do have so many dreams and visions and plans, it's not very long before I'm like, oh, but, and then I start thinking of all the things that I'm like, because sometimes I'm like, why am I even doing this? This is so much work. And sometimes it just feels like nothing is working out. But then I remember all of the hopes that I have for my family. Like I do it for my family. I mean, I do it for me too, but mainly it's like, I want my kids to have real healthy food that benefits their body, not all this food that we have nowadays that's just destroying bodies. I want my family to be healthy. I want them to be happy. I want to be able to provide for them.
Yeah.
I just worry, like, you never know what's going to happen from day to day in life right now. And if something ever were to happen, I just want the peace of mind that we will be taken care of because we've already been living that way.
Yeah. Wow. I agree with you on everything you just said.
Good. Yeah, it's a lot, but it's worth every minute of it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, what message do you have for someone who is wanting to begin their homesteading journey?
I get this question a lot actually, because I have on Instagram, I have a lot of followers that have never gardened, never planted anything, never done any baking, well, like sourdough type baking, like the more homestead type things, stuff from scratch more. And everybody always asks, where do I even start? And I'm like, just grab some seeds, whatever you want. It can just be something simple like a flower, like something that's way easy to start with, and just put it in a pot. It doesn't have to be anything special, and just put it in your windowsill, and just you could start that way. Or just like because a lot of people also don't have the space that I have to start a homestead or like a homestead type lifestyle. But I always tell them, you don't need a ton of room for a couple of chickens. You can do container gardenings if you live in an apartment. There's so many options you can do. You can do indoor growing. You can do seed sprouting. You can sprout your own seeds and just eat the sprouts. Sourdough is something that you could easily learn. So I just tell them, just pick one thing that you want to learn and just go for it. And I always tell them to prepare to fail and plan to fail, because every year something goes wrong, and it's not because you're a failure. It's just that's how homesteading is. That's how everyday life is. We just fail at something or another. And the thing is, you can't look at that as the negative failure that the world shows. It's like failure is not actually like a negative thing. It's just, well, you just need to make some changes. You just have to learn from it. And it's not something, I mean, it is hard. And I'm not saying like I enjoy failure, because I don't, but it's not like I don't take it to heart as, oh, I can never do this. I'm not good at this. Like, this is never going to work for me. It's just, okay, what did I learn from that? What do I need to do different? Or how can I change it up next time to try it a different way to be successful? It's more of like, you got to just think through it, and maybe you'll fail again and again and again. Because like our sourdough starter, I've had mine for a few years and I've killed it multiple times. And same with gardening. There's some things that I'm like, peas, like half of my peas died last year. And I was like, peas are like the easiest thing for me to grow. Why are they dying? But again, like that's like, I did everything I normally do and they still died. So sometimes we do our best and things just happen, and we just have to keep learning and growing from it. So I just say, just keep going, plan to fail. But when you do fail, don't take it as you're failing, take it as a learning step, and just keep going and keep trying. And then as you go, just keep adding more and more and more. And then pretty soon you'll be amazed at how far you've come in just a few years.
It's an opportunity for you to grow too. Being a failure is not a big deal. Like it's just an opportunity for us to grow and learn new lessons and raise ourselves from where we're at to where we want to be.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
Very cool. Well, Shantelle, thank you so much for jumping on this podcast with me. I think there is some amazing things that you just taught me, and probably those listening. So thank you.
Yeah, thank you for having me.